Welcome to day 51 of our school year. Starting a new row. Okay, let's get down our beginning fraction. We have a total amount of 180 school days, and we are on day 51. So first we want to find the factors of our numerator. Our numerator is 51. Two factors we always know are 1 and the number itself. And then using the commutative property of multiplication, 51 times 1. Now we're going to go through our divisibility rules so that we make sure we check all our factors and don't miss any. And we're going to go in order. So after 1 is 2. So the rule for 2 is that it ends in an even number. 1 is odd, so 2 is not a factor. And if 2 is not a factor, no even number will be. 2 must work for any other even number to work. So that means I only need to check odd numbers. Now I'm going to try 3. The rule for 3 is that we add the digits together. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 is a multiple of 3, so 3 is a factor. Okay, I can get 10 groups of 3 out of 51. That leaves 21, and then that would be 17. 3 times 17, 17 times 3. We try 5. The rule for 5 is that it ends in a 0 or 5. It ends in a 1. We try 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56. 51 is not in that list. We try 9. It has the same rule as 3. We add the digits together, we get 6. 6 is not a multiple of 9, so 9 is not a factor. We try 11. 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. 51 is not in that list. We try 13, 26, 39, 52. 51 is not in that list. We try 15, 15, 30, 45, 60. 51's not in that list. And then we get to 17. And we're done. Also, 17 is a prime number. When we've gone in order and our second number is a prime number, we are done. Because it can't break down into any more factors. So let's list our factors from least to greatest. 1, 3, 17, 51. That's 4 factors. That is more than 2 factors, so it is composite. And now we just need to figure out our greatest common factor. So let's start with the greatest one and see if that's in common for both. So we're making groups of 51. I'm just going to put my shaded area into one big group. Your groups do not have to look like mine, but they do have to have 51 in each group. And you need to keep that shaded separated from the unshaded. So here I have 9 plus 40 is 49, plus 2 more. Then I have 8 plus 10, 20, 30, 40. I get 48 plus 3 is 51. And I have 27 left over. 27. Since I have a remainder, that means that 51 is not a factor of 180, so it's not a common factor. Let's try groups of 17. Again, your groups do not have to look like mine, but you do need to have 17 in each group and keep the shaded from the unshaded. Also make sure that you are fully including all the squares you want in the group. Try not to have the lines across it. So 3 plus 10 is 13, plus 4 more is 17. 6 plus 10 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So your shaded should all work in the groups of 17, and then you just have to do the unshaded. So let's see, 9 plus 8 is 17. 2 plus 10 plus 5 is 17. 5 plus 10 plus 2 is 17. 8 plus 9 is 17. 1 plus 10 is 11 plus 6 more is 17. 4 plus 10 plus 3 is 17. 7 plus 10 is 17. And I have 10 left over. I don't have enough to make another group of 17, so I have a remainder there. That means 17 is not a common factor. Okay, now let's go ahead and try our groups of 3. Make sure you keep your shaded separated from your unshaded. And you have 3 in each group. Alright, so I have the shaded complete. Let's go ahead and do the unshaded. Careful that your lines don't go across the groups, but include all the squares. I know sometimes it's hard, but you want to be careful of that. Well, I have no squares outside of a group, so that means 3 is our greatest common factor. We found it. Now let's count up our total groups of 3. Well, each of these rows for me, the way I made mine, has 3, so I'm going to count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60 total groups. And I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17 shaded in. Alright, now that we've done our division with our model, because we divided it into equal groups, let's go ahead and do our division with our algorithm. So 180 into groups of 3 and 51 into groups of 3. Let's see, 3 times 30, the placeholder moves it over a place. 3 times 3 is 9. Number is the same, 0 is the game, and then this is just 18, take away 9, which is 9. Oh, and then that's 30 times 3, which is 90. Number's the same, 0 is the game. I thought I would do it a little differently, pick different multiples, because whatever you use to multiply there, you will eventually get to the right answer. It does not have to be the same as mine, but you do need to use multiples. You actually know. Add these partial quotients together, I get 30 plus 30 is 60. Okay, over here I'm going to do 10 times 3 is 30. More on top, no need to stop. More on top, no need to stop. And then 7 times 3 is 21. Numbers the same, 0 is the game. Add these partial quotients together. 10 plus 7 is 17. And I always want to check my answers. My divisor times my quotient plus my remainder. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. So 60 times 3. But since my remainder is 0 for both, and the identity property of addition says when you add 0 it stays the same, I don't need to actually add the remainder on either one of these. Okay, so I have 60 times 3 and 17 times 3. 3 groups of 0 is 0. 3 groups of 6 tens is 18 tens. 3 groups of 7 ones is 21 ones. I have to regroup that too. 3 groups of 10 is 3 tens plus 2 more tens is 5 tens, or 50. Okay, 51, that matches my dividend up here, so that checks. 180, that matches my dividend up here, so that checks. So my numerator's definitely 17, and my denominator's definitely 60. All right, now it's time to fill in our data collection page. We are still in trimester 1. We are in week 12. Today is 10/21/19, and our fraction for today is 17/60. Okay, let's go ahead and get out your number line. We did groups of 3. Okay, so here's our 3. Go all the way over. Our last one is 13/60. 14/60. That's equivalent to 21/90. And 7/30 was our simplest form. 15/60. That was equivalent to 45/180. And all the way down here, it's equivalent to 1/4. 15/60 is 1/4. They're equivalent. 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour, 60 minutes. So that's why we call that quarter hour. 15 minutes is a quarter hour. Then we have 16/60, which is equivalent to 4/15. This is our simplest form. And then today, 17/60 is our simplest form. There's no lines below it, or equivalent fraction in lowest terms. The only one that's above it is 51/180. Okay, go ahead and put your number line away, erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.